So basically I'm in the middle of moving and my life's a disaster. And I figured this was a great opportunity to both go out of town when I should be moving into my new apartment, go see Hamilton in a theater in New York, which I'm very excited for. I'm gonna be staying at a tiny home. I thought I'd turn it into a little vlogging adventure and try to get some reading done in the meantime. I could have just turned the chair, and this is how I'm sitting on the chair. Why am I like this? Maximum difficulty, 100% of the time. Anyway, so I am moving, but I currently live in this like over 100-year-old house. I love me a Yea Olde mansion, especially in mysteries and thrillers. That's probably from my love of Agatha Christie, to be honest, because she really loves moth-eaten upholstery, fancy McMansion house. So this house has some really cool things, and I thought I'd show you some of the stuff that I'm gonna miss, because I am gonna miss portions of this house. I'm moving because I have terrible landlords and they don't fix anything, and I have a bunch of unpaid fellow renters, including mice, which are my least favorite kitchen attachment, and squirrels, which are in the attic and then occasionally in the walls, which is just not great. I thought I'd show you some of the things I actually do enjoy about my house. Let's all say hi to the dog. Hi, dog. Hi, doggy. Hi, doggy. Dublin is going to miss his house because it has many, many places for him to lie down, which he enjoys. First off, I love the doors. These are like 12, 14-foot ceilings. All the doors have this like beautiful molding. I love the stairs. Look at this, it's gorgeous. It's so pretty. It even has a skylight, which is nice because I put some of my plants here in the winter. Which isn't leaking right now. That was a bonus because it was dropping chunks of plaster when we moved in. And this is one of my favorite features. These beautiful little glass doorknobs, and then an honest to God keyhole. That's probably one of my favorite, that's my favorite part of this house, is that there's a keyhole. Because you can actually look through the keyhole, which is something I thought just existed in books. Other things about this house, it has gorgeous floors. They're old and weathered and lovely. It actually has tons of good light. This is my indoor plant room. This is where I normally film. I don't like these stairs because, as you can see, I put these little don't fall step runners on it because on pretty much the last day of 2020, it kicked me on the ass on the way out, and I fell from the top step and on the wood stairs all the way down on my back, and I went ass over tea kettle, and it was deeply, deeply unpleasant. I actually thought I cracked a vertebrae at the time, and I did not, which I was very lucky for. But I did spend a couple of days on the couch with an ice pack, nursing my wounds. This is the living room. We didn't actually spend a lot of time in this room because there is only one heater in this front area, and like there is a visible draft around this whole door, that whole window, and the fireplace. So this room was a solid 15 degrees colder than anywhere else in the house. And but Rosa can say there's a fireplace over there, and I would tell you that a squirrel fell down into it. Once you pulled one rotting squirrel out of a chimney flue, it does kind of ruin your experience of the chimney. This is the reason why we live in this house. This is the reason, okay? Which is that this is the 3-season sunroom. It does have a little heater in here, but it is completely uninsulated. So, and these windows are very old, so you absolutely cannot keep plants in here in the winter. Let's see if I can show you. It has all these beautiful windows, beautiful lights. In the summer, I have all my plant shelves down here, like lining completely around. I have hanging plants. I'll insert a picture because it looks really cute. But this is what the room looks like in the summer. It's gorgeous. It's the main reason we live here because I'm a plant lady. This house just has like a lot of nice light. I really loved the windows. I love old houses because in Alaska there are no old houses because they just fall down. Very harsh environment. I wouldn't want to move if the landlords fixed anything at all, but they would much prefer to have this house just fall down on my head versus paying a single penny to fix it. So we out. We're leaving. We're going somewhere new. Why, hello from the land of editing, Rosica. So, you might say that I was being too harsh to this apartment, this house, and maybe I should have just learned to live with the woodland creatures. And to that I say there are many parts of this house which I greatly dislike, including this, which is my murder basement. It's terrifying. As you can see, the door frame is not even attached to the wall. That's an exterior door. We also have the super creepy wine cellar, which is just filled with trash and ants. And also, this is the sound that my furnace makes, completely unedited. So yeah, I was living in a house with a murder basement. No matter how nice the sunroom, I needed to leave. Also, to lighten the mood, here is me doing carpet angels in my new apartment. So much better. Back to you, past Rosica. I have to get back to packing, so I will see you later. Cut to later this weekend when we're on our way to New York. And now we're here in the land of boxes and all my plants, which I thought I had a reasonable amount of until I realized that I have 3 more boxes to put on that shelf. So it's fine. We've arrived. Arrivederci. We are in our new apartment. Yay. There's much unpacking to do. I have exactly 10 minutes to film something before people come with all my furniture. So yeah, I had my out of town excursion. I got to stay in a wonderful little Airbnb that was actually a tiny house, and it was so cute. The decorations were gorgeous. It had like a little chandelier and all these little candles, and it was just very relaxing. It also had a jacuzzi, which is not shown, but it was very relaxing. And I got to spend a little bit of time finishing, I finished Bravey by Alexi Pappis, which is an excellent running memoir. It definitely has like a target audience, I think. And I'll post a longer review on that book in my wrap up, but it was an excellent book. It talks as much about mental health and her struggles with depression and having to live with the fact that her mom killed herself when she was young and how that impacted a lot of her struggles and stuff with life. But anyway, the main reason I moved out of my apartment was because it had rodentia of many varietals. I removed over 24 non-rent paying inhabitants from my home because my landlord would not do it. And then I also became the slayer of mice. I was a mouse killer. I'm reformed. Very sorry. I don't want to be a mouse killer, but they were nesting in the stove and it was gross and my landlord refused to get rid of them. And so we got rid of ourselves. We gave the house back to the mice. The mice really won. Our neighbors gave us some parting gifts of some squirrel magnets to remember our former roommates, and as well as some tiny adorable mouse friends that were cuter than our actual kitchen mice. I thought it would be sort of funny to talk about the book I listened to while I was moving and unpacking was actually the book I chose for middle grade March, which was Redwall by Brian Jacques. It's a medieval children's fantasy story whose cast is entirely woodland creatures. I listened to Redwall on audiobook while I was unpacking, and I really enjoyed the cast of characters. You have the chosen one figure, who is an orphan actually, so he does fit 2 prompts of middle grade March of an orphaned main character, as well as a book published before the year I was born. So I didn't know I was crossing 2 off. I did a good job. But basically he's an Abbey mouse, an orphan that was taken in by the Redwall Abbey, and he doesn't really want to be like, you know, a friar or anything like that. He wants to be a warrior, like Martin the Warrior, who is a mouse from, you know, ye yonder years, from tales of old. Their peaceful abbey comes under siege from Clooney the Terrible? Clooney the Horrible. I can't remember. He's a rat, so of course he's bad. Brian Jacques definitely writes characters as either completely good or completely bad. There's no gray in the world of Brian Jacques. You are evilly evil or you are goody good. The voice actor who played Clooney was extremely funny, and I couldn't figure out what sort of accent he was going for, if it was like Russian or like Scottish or German, but it was just, I'm guessing it was like evil mustache twirly accent. I loved all the characters. Sometimes Brian Jacques comes under criticism for his books not featuring a lot of like female main characters, but I'm not sure I totally agree with that, because you have really like self-assured female characters in Redwall. You have Constance the Badger, who's basically like, her job is to take care of all the youngling like orphan mice, and she is not to be fucked with. Like, she will fuck you up if you go anywhere near the kiddos or the Abbey. Like, she is clearly the strongest warrior in all of Redwall Abbey, like by miles. You've got Cornflower, who's kind of the love interest, but she's not really interested in like warrior shit. Like, her job is she like bakes and she like cooks for all the warriors in the Redwall Abbey, but she also like somehow takes down like a siege tower with like a lamp and then goes back to baking. So she's actually pretty cool too. You've got Jess, who's like a master climbing squirrel who does all this like crazy gymnastics shit that helps out the crew. And she's also like a mom of a toddler, so that's pretty cool. And then of course the hares of the world of Brian Jacques. Often they belong to something called the Long Patrol, which is like this elite group of like guerrilla hare warriors. And we have Basil Staghair is one of our crew who assists Matthias. He only speaks in like old-timey English, like at all times. He says things like, what ho, and stiff up a whisker. I'm sorry, I promise not to do any more British accents in this video. Definitely more coming. He's so fucking full of himself, but also like he hops the hop, so to speak. I think probably my favorite thing about the world of Redwall that gets built with Brian Jacques is you have people of all ages who contribute something useful to the story. So even when the main character, Matthias, is off fucking questing, the other characters are solving problems, okay? They're like figuring out like how to defend the Abbey, they're doing a good job, and they're like going off on their own side hustle quests, and they're doing good. They're genuinely doing good. There's a mouse called Methuselah because he's quite old. I mean, that's a tough name as a kid, little baby Methuselah. You won't have much live fast, die young mentality, I bet. He's ancient. He's an ancient mouse, but also he's got jokes. He will fall asleep in the middle of riddle solving, but he will also basically tell you to shove it up your ass if you tell him to have a nap, because he's like still really fucking clever. He's very brainy and smart, and he helps the team, and the team would not succeed without him. All this to say is that Redwall and Brian Jacques has gone a long way towards redeeming mice for me and making me feel nice, warming thoughts about mice again, because before I was quite mad at the world of mice. So I'm having so much fun that I've also started a second book by Brian Jacques called Marielle, which does feature a female lead. Marielle, obviously, is a mouse, and she is a bellmaker's daughter. And then, you know, as per usual, they have to face someone terrible. In this case, it is a pirate king. Sea rat, of course, but it is a pirate king. And this time there are more badgers, because the badgers are really goddamn cool. So anyway, I have mostly moved in, but I had a lot of fun in New York. I got to see Hamilton with a couple of my friends who I've been missing and haven't seen since I moved out of New York. It was so much fun, and it was such a good needed vacation. And sometimes the things that you plan that seem like not a good idea are actually a good idea. In other news of not good ideas, I should have pre-recorded videos because I will have missed a week. Oops. So there will be bonus content, I guess, coming, and we're going to make that happen somehow. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and thank you for liking and subscribing to my channel. I will be able to reply to more comments and make videos more consistently by the time that this video uploads, because I will be moved in to my place with all my plants. It's not a normal amount of plants. Thanks for everyone who's been doing a lot of the tags that I tag them in. They're so much fun to watch, and I've been enjoying seeing all the videos and your answers because, of course, you're very cool people, and I'm trying to use the internet to make friends. Thanks for watching, and happy reading.